Good evening. Welcome to our school board meeting. It has been duly called. Appropriate notice has been given. There's a quorum. And we have some fantastic young men that are going to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, the cross-country state champions. Anybody going to announce them, or do you want to do the pledge first? Okay. Gentlemen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, I need approval of the agenda, please.
Move to approve the agenda and the minutes of the October 19th and November 2nd and November 6th meetings.
Thank you, Jason. And a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. All right.
Mr. Husky?
Okay, not Mr.
Mr.
Yes, yes, you.
Sure, why not?
Yes, Coach Husky.
I said, I guess it's been about a week or two ago, our leadership team met, and I told them, I said, I felt this group and coaches, these student athletes, might be the most underappreciated group that we have in our school. The reason I say that, you think right now if we had any sporting team that had won back-to-back state championships, or what's the total, 6? 8?
Wow.
What would we be doing for any other team? So what they have done, along with their coaches, is unbelievable, and very, very proud. They not only do they represent us on, in cross country, they do the same thing in classroom and in the community. So I'm going to turn it over to their coaches, Coach Norris, Tilda, and Coach Patrick.
Some backup, please.
I'll start by saying it's a privilege to coach with these two. We're very much a team as well, and it's kind of all hands on board. But we're especially proud to kind of talk a little bit about this special group of boys. I had a few things written down that I wanted to talk about here. So in the last few years, there have been 3 state championships in 5 years. In the last 4 years have been state runner-up, state champs. And there's a number of guys, on the team that have been here, for a lot of that. Some things about this group, and it's an understatement to say that they're hard workers. They're very, very hardworking. If you know anything about distance running, it takes a long time to get really good. It's often, by the time a lot of these guys become upperclassmen, it's years in the making. It's a very gradual, almost painfully slow process of just steady improvement over time. And these guys have just worked hard to accomplish what they have. They're very humble. They don't do it to receive recognition or anything like that. I think they do it in pursuit of a common goal and to be the best that they can be as runners and as individuals. They're very selfless. I think it's a really cool thing to see. On any given day, one person may beat somebody else, and that order flips the next race, and they're happy for each other. They just want to be the best they can be for the team, and there's never any hard feelings about placements in races. They're all always happy for each other and celebrate each other's success. They compete hard. They love running for each other. It's always a special thing to see them toe the line together. So I think I'd like for them to introduce themselves. So let's do that. I'm going to start with Hendrix visit. Before Hendrix gets going, I'd like to interject a little bit. So I said some of them have been around for a while. Hendrix has been 4 times All-State.
I was there, all 4 years that you were talking about.
Got to be a member of 2 heartbreaking losses before 2 pretty good ones the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So,
I'm Hendrix Hughes. I'm a senior this year. And like you said, I've been here all 4 years for those 2 runner-ups and now back-to-backs. And I made All-State all 4 years too. And so, you know, yeah, I've enjoyed being on this team. Enjoyed, you know, being a part of something bigger than just myself. And that's the biggest picture on that is I'm doing this for not just myself, but all these guys. So,
Congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm Trenton Smith, and I am a sophomore. I've just been on this team for almost 2 years, and I loved every moment of it. I love running with them. I love running for this team, and I can't wait for the upcoming more years.
also All-State this year.
Oh, yeah. No big deal.
I didn't really know what it was until you all told me.
That is humble,
Big
right
deal.
there.
Signed up to run. Long distance.
Oh, I'm Ryan Amick. I'm also a senior. I've been doing cross country since like the 7th grade. Just my coach Moore said it's been painfully slow. Like the past few years, I've finally seen all the work show up. One state the past 2 years. It's finally just all here.
I'm Garrett Barr, and I'm a sophomore. I've won 2 state champions, and hoping to win 2 more.
Also All-State this year.
Also all state.
I'm Brenton Yates. I'm a senior, and I've been running for 3 years.
I'm Aiden Sanders. I'm a senior. I've been running for 3 years. Kind of crazy, but I quit, or I started 1 year, quit the other year, started the next year, quit, and then now I'm here. In one state.
Glad you didn't quit this year when they won. That's happened to me.
I'm Connor King. I'm a junior, and I've been running since 7th grade. And like Coach Norris said, like the process of running, it's all kind of built up, and hope to have a good senior year. Also All-State.
I'm Cade Tramsos. I'm a senior this year. I joined the Mountain Home cross country team last year, so I've never had any heartbreaks like Hendrix over there. I just got to bask in the glory of the 2 state championships. Loved every moment of these guys.
I'm Zach Gardy. This is my 3rd year of cross country, and I'm just happy to be on the team. Glad that we won state.
Let's do it again next year.
Nathan Bryson Huggins. I'm a senior, and I don't really know when I started. I just know that I left and then came back and then moved schools again, but then came back this year. And I'm really glad I did because I enjoy running with these guys.
I'm Bruce Lera. I joined cross country this year, and I like getting to know all of my teammates. Can't wait for the upcoming future.
I'm William Bill. Been running for 4 years now.
Yeah, 2-time All-State the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah. So they're that in there.
Yep, again, thank you for giving these guys a chance to be recognized.
Absolutely.
It means a lot to us, and we're really proud of them.
Thank you for representing Mountain Home Bombers so well. Thank you so much. Because I remember when I almost ran you over, I don't know how many times when you were running. So you're a big deal too, and a lot of people do not even know how big this kid is. And I'm so proud that you came back home.
And brought his wife.
And yes.
And let Coach Patrick help him.
Yeah, okay, all of that. It is a lot of grueling work, you know. I mean, you get up early, you run in the snow and the rain and hail, yeah.
Well, we try not to do that.
I admire anybody that can run because I'm a breeder, not a runner.
The dedication that it takes to make those slow, small gains, and the fact that you have won state 2 years in a row, I mean, that really speaks to the determination, that dedication of running and working at it every day. Because there's certainly days that I know y'all don't want to, et cetera, but it shows a lot. That dedication and focus, that will serve you well going on forward for those of your seniors, et cetera. So, well done, gentlemen. Well done, coaches. Good job.
Anybody have any offers?
College.
College, yeah, sorry.
I mean,
Got a few.
I was gonna say, after this
still
winning.
Ongoing right now for
Yeah.
a few. Yeah.
Okay, good
Maybe
deal.
another month or 2.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
We appreciate you.
congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks, coaches. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Eat lots of food because you can burn it off. Good for you. All right. Mr. Rose, academic reports.
So they are obviously hard to follow up. That's a pretty impressive feat. I'll talk to Jace a little bit about this. I do run a little bit. I hate to even call it running because it's nothing like that. When they won that championship, I said, Mr. Do you realize how hard it is to run that fast? So anyhow, it's impressive. But we do have something really exciting to talk about tonight in the academic report. I called up a couple of the ladies that put in tons of time and effort, along with several others. But we're going to talk a little bit about their Pathways program and some exciting new things going on with that. All right, step over and let them.
Yep. So good old Trenton, the second guy in the row. I have the pleasure of high school courtyard duty at 7:30 on Mondays and Fridays this morning, or this year. And I show up in a coat and a beanie and gloves and I'm freezing and he's in a cutoff and he's like, I just ran 47 miles, what's up? I mean, he's like every morning, like they're the best. Anyway, so Pathways. You have heard the term, we've talked about it, we have kind of talked all the way around it, but what is Pathways? And Pathways is simply an intentional program, K-12, to expose our kids to careers. And you've seen this graphic over and over. I'm not going to go through and read all of it, but it is breaking down our career exposure for our kiddos in an appropriate way. So like a kindergartner, career awareness. We're not asking them to pick what they want to be when they're in kindergarten, but just giving them multiple opportunities to see what's available to them. And that is tiered all the way up through 12th grade. So as we are meeting as a committee, we focus really on one big goal. Last year was our teacher externships, which is basically a fancy word for a teacher field trip. So we learned a lot of things about that last year. Number one, don't plan to go to businesses on Good Friday because they're not open. But all of our teachers, first grade through 12th grade, were able to go and visit businesses with some intentional questions and bring that information back to their classrooms last year. That has tied over to this year into those businesses coming and presenting in all these classes, to having Zoom calls and virtual chats. All kinds of things have happened because of that one day. This year's goal is telling our story. We want to share with the public what we're doing. I think we do a great job at school every day, but I think a lot of times we get busy in the day-to-day and we forget to tell you what we're doing. So Laura and I sit down and we're like, well, how do we do that? So we created, and this is just a working document for our staff. This is not going out to the public, so it's not very pretty. But we created a spreadsheet. We call this a bridge document, where we ask each of our buildings to go in and highlight their career activities that they're doing in their buildings each quarter. So you can tell we're looking at kindergarten here. So some of their activities were Patriots Day, fire prevention, the Berry Farm field trip, Veterans Day. They've already got a quarter two on there. Look at them. Tying it into our graphic, what area of career awareness or career focus does it tie to? And then push out information on our website. So as of yesterday, our Pathways website is live. Hopefully everything is spelled correctly because my website developing days are about 4 days old. But you just go to our homepage, click on more about Pathways, and then each of our buildings has their individual page. So this is our junior high page, and they're all formatted the same. Everything's nice and clean. But teachers go in, submit their pictures, little blurb about what they're doing, and we're able to highlight and tell the story of what's happening in each of our buildings. So we're super excited about our website. It will be updated every quarter. So there will be new information there as we're rolling through the year. And in addition to our website, as a result of our CTE Business Advisory Board meeting a few weeks ago, figured out, I think some board members were there and had a great idea. Let's figure out how to tell our story with some shorts, which are not like shorts that you wear, but some videos. Those are in the process. We were hoping one of them was going to be done in time to show you tonight, but it is almost ready. The focus of that is we started with our career and tech student organizations at the high school, and we're leaning on Jennifer Crawford's student intern. What a great real-world opportunity for her. She's creating these videos, putting it together, asking these CTSO officers and leaders, student leaders in these clubs to share how does this tie to a future career for you. So those will be here soon. They will also be housed on the Pathways part of the website. We'll push them out through social media. Just 2 easy ways of sharing our story and continuing to grow our community involvement piece. So I have junior high up here on purpose, and Laura is here because it doesn't get any more real than what she's going to share with you. So I'm going to stop talking because I'm not going to steal any of her thunder and let her tell you about it.
So we started 3 years ago at the junior high doing a career day in conjunction with all of our pathways. And this year was just like any other year. We had lots of presenters from the community come to our kids. We had 3 different sites. We were on junior high campus, which is new this year. In the past, we want the kids to be off campus. We want to give them an off-campus feel. And so we use the shed, we use the fairgrounds, but we needed a little bit more. We have some presenters that want 30 minutes. We have some presenters that want 45. We have some presenters that need projectors. We have some presenters that are very hands-on, want to be outside. We give a survey. We always do a survey afterwards, and we get feedback. And so this year, we had 8th and 9th grade presenters at the junior high. We had 8th grade at ASU. We had 9th grade at the shed. We split the kids in half, girls and boys. Some of the feedback is too many people, we can't hear. So we thought, okay, well, half the number of people at any one place. So we had the girls stayed on campus. Both 8th and 9th grade girls stayed on campus in the morning. Everybody came back for lunch, and then the boys stayed on campus in the afternoon, and the girls went out. And that was much, much better. So y'all have heard about our career day in the past, so I won't go any more about that. However, this year something really exciting happened. We had Letty's come. We've not had a restaurant come. Fontenot's was also supposed to be there, but somebody got COVID, so they chose to stay home, which we were very grateful for. But Letty's came. They had this huge spread, and I don't think we have any pictures on our slideshow. We will have some pictures later. But they did this huge nacho bar. And while the kids were sitting there eating nachos, she was talking about the certifications. Everybody in her restaurant has to have a certification, talked about all the different jobs. Well, one student went and applied, and they got hired 2 days after.
Wow.
So we're already seeing some benefits, because that kid would not have had that opportunity. And so that was just our
woohoo moment.
We're really hoping that kid brings back free nachos when he comes back to campus.
Yeah, the nacho bar was definitely one of the favorites this year. So anyway, we hope to continue to expand every year. It has gotten bigger and better. The other part of this is it just feeds right on into the high school, because we're exploration, their experience. We get the kids set up for experience in the spring, because not only do they have all the presenters come, but then they'll take a field trip in the spring, and they'll go out to different businesses. We did that last spring, and it was incredible. They loved it. It was just for a couple of hours. So when they get to high school, they'll already have that idea, but it'll be a lot longer. They'll get that embedded experience when they get to the high school. So,
About how many students?
well, it was every kid.
Eight. Oh, so
Every
each
kid in 8th and 9th grade.
8th and 9th grade. Okay. Wow.
I went to the event, and I gotta admit, I was a little confused in the beginning. I was like, there's way more girls. Figured it out pretty quick. But I was thoroughly impressed with the engagement. It's one thing to put on a great event, but if nobody engages to it, it's kind of like, what was the point? The engagement was awesome. I mean, the students were involved and looking, and it was a great event. So,
And what helps with that is they get to choose. We use that RTI scheduler that we have, and they pick their sessions that they want to go to. I think it was 3 at one and 2 at the other. Anyway, five or 6 sessions is what they got. Eighth grade got 7. They got to see 7 different jobs, and ninth grade had 1 less because ASU was 45 minutes. They were a little bit longer. So, anyway.
That's great stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, Helen.
Thank you very much.
I also want to do a quick shout out, not to both these ladies, but Ms. Camp has picked up some extra duties and with some ESOL testing to help all runs out. And I just want to make note of that to the board tonight. So
Thank you for stepping
thank you
up.
guys for the work you do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Ms. Cotter, try to follow that with your awesome financial reports.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We ended the month of October with $15,536,547.28. To highlight a few things from the month of October, in Fund 2275, we received $274,050, and that is the majority of our state categorical funding allocation, and so we'll have a little bit coming in after this. Then also I wanted to point out in Fund 2340, that's our startup grant fund, and you can see we had $20,813.10 in expenditures there, and that they have started purchasing their tech hardware and things like that to help with the aviation program. Also, in Fund 8061, that is a new fund. If you may or may not recall, last year we had 8058 and 8059. That was 2 separate rounds of supply chain assistance that we got for food service, and we found out we were getting a 3rd round, so that's what this is about. And we received $104,313.46, and Mr. Mary plans on using those funds for milk purchases. And we'll be bringing some things back regarding this fund when we bring budget adjustments at a later date.
Any questions?
Next, we have the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in balances for the month ending October 31st. We had revenues of $6,368,478.93 with total expenditures of $4,166,384.49. Moving on to our monthly operating fund balance tracking. We ended the month of October in funds 1, 2, and 4 combined with $45,915.44. And then we have our statement of changes in activity funds. We ended the month of October in all activity funds combined with $590,882.50.
Ms. Carter, I'd like to ask a question.
Sure.
What do they use this for? Does it go for the students? What is it?
It can be used for multiple things. We have things like fundraisers going on. If we can talk about like junior high and high school in particular for a minute, they have all these different clubs. All these different clubs are fundraising. They may be fundraising to take trips, go to student conferences. It also, we have sports teams that are fundraising. If it's not related to the Booster Club, then their fundraising goes into their activity fund. and it's to support whatever that club or program is. When you get down into the lower grades, it might be their book fairs, and it might be that they're purchasing things. There are some fundraising that they do that goes into the general that's used just to support students and their activities, or it may be a fundraiser for a specific purpose, and then at that point, if it's raised for a specific purpose, then we want to expense it for that purpose. For instance, if a school raised money and earmarked it for playground equipment, then we would want that money to be spent specifically, that was raised specifically for playground equipment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
The following reports are system reports, and the next 3 pages, I believe, are the system reports that support the information that I just shared, and then following that is our check register for October for all the checks that were written.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Leah.
Thank you.
Ms. Leah. All right, Ms. Dewey, enrollment report?
Yes, ma'am. If you look on the second page of the enrollment report, you'll see that we have 2 more students today than we had at this time last month. So
2 at a time.
2 at a time. 3,831 today.
Very good. Any questions for Mrs. Dewey? All right, Mr. Knight, facility projects update.
Alright, so on November 13th, we finally got our official letter from the State Fire Marshal and about the high school. And he is basically give us a task, 3 things that we need to do. One is to get a fire protection engineer to come in and do an inspection of the school. 2, double check that all those alarms that were checked this summer are still working. And 3, install additional smoke or heat detectors in that space. I will tell you that that is being done over Thanksgiving break. And I can probably have number 2 done at the same time while we're doing that. So we'll be pretty close. We just have to find a fire engineer. And then as soon as we finish those tasks, we upload proof to them, and we are anticipating that we will have fulfilled that transition plan and receive a letter from them, and we'll be done.
Great.
I've attached that here, and then we've also updated the master plan from the one you guys read at training to reflect those, and hopefully next month I will bring that to you all to approve. So if you see anything you do or don't like about it, just let us know sometime. And so,
Any questions for Mr. Knight?
Thank you for sharing.
no problem.
Thank you, Chris. All right.
Still Mr. Knight?
Yes, Mr. Knight, stay there.
So normally when we have purchases $20,000 or greater, they have to be sealed bid, advertised for 2 weeks. There are exceptions to that rule. One of the exceptions is if we have an emergency and we don't have time. We did have a catastrophic failure to the heating and cooling on the high school, top of the cafeteria. I've gone and called the 2 companies that I feel in town, local can do it, got bids from them, got the final bid at about 1 o'clock today. I've attached those. I'm asking you all to approve bidder number 2 at a price of $32,254 plus tax to have that installed. I will tell you that we had to add on $3,000 extra to get it here in a week. If we don't pay that, you're looking at anywhere from January to March.
Cannot go without heat.
Be rather cold without it.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that'll be here in about a week and then start getting it installed.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to accept the recommendation.
Second.
Jason, Barbara, any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Dr. Brown, request to approve student transfers for November.
The background is current policy 4.4 for student transfers. From the requirements of Act 731 of 2023, it requires transfer applications received since the last meeting must be considered at the next board meeting if they were received at least 5 days prior to the meeting. Each transfer application shall be considered individually and receive a separate vote by the board. So you have, our recommendation is to request that you approve the following petitions. Notice you have 3 students that are moving into the district, but I did want to note of 4 of the students that are moving out of the district, that is a family. So sometimes it looks like there's like more, but it's one family of 4 students. Watch my one too.
Thank you.
Tidbit information. So, however y'all would like to.
Okay.
Still doing it individually, right?
Individually.
We have to do
Yeah.
individuals.
Hopefully,
right?
last time, hopefully.
Gonna fire this thing off.
I make a motion, we accept Norfolk student number 1.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Jason, thank you. All in favor? All in favor? Unanimous?
I make a motion, we accept Norfolk student number 2.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
I make a motion, we accept Viola student number 1.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Okay. Make a motion, we accept, or we transfer out Cotter student 1.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Make a motion, we transfer out Cotter student 2.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor? Unanimous?
Make a motion, we transfer out Cotter student 3.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Make a motion, we transfer out Cotter student 4.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Make a motion, we transfer out Cotter student 5.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous? Flippin'?
Make a motion for student number 1, Flippin.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Make a motion for Norfolk student number 1.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
That was fun.
Thank you, Miss Dana Brown. Dr. Brown, stay up there. Request to approve purchase of aviation training devices. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, no. Request to approve purchases over $20,000.
Okay. First, purchase, background, we're referencing, board policy 7.5 Mountain Home for MH and 7.13 MH that requires purchases over $20,000. Again, the rationale is whenever we usually bring bidders or vendors over $20,000, this is a purchase, that is based on an innovation grant from Department of Career and Technical Education that we have received. So the recommendation is to approve the vendor transfer in the amount of $28,000 for virtual reality headsets and health science career exploration simulations to be purchased out of the DCTE innovation grant that the district has received. Transfer is a sole source provider or vendor for this particular purchase.
All right, we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept the recommendation as submitted.
Second.
Jason and Daniel? Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, now back to request to approve.
It is the night of CTE, career technical education, just the pathways, and again, we're referencing policy 7.5 MH and policy 7.13 MH for a purchase that exceeds $20,000. The rationale is a little bit different on this one. It is referencing minimum equipment for a simulation, a flight simulator. So the training devices that are needed for the particular curriculum that they are currently using at the junior high and high school, using for our new aviation program that we receive startup funds from Department of Career and Technical Education. So again, the money that we are using to purchase these simulators are from the Department of Career and Technical Education division. One example of their use is that students will be doing flight planning and then will be allowed the opportunity to test their calculations on the device. Safer and much more practical than the actual aircraft. Students will also be working with weight and balance calculations, and these can be manipulated on these devices so that they can experience differences in a safer, more controlled environment. These devices are constructed of high-quality metal materials that will outlast any of the off-the-shelf home flight simulator setups. These are being certified by the FAA as basic aviation training devices, which means that students will be allowed to log their flight hours in logbooks toward their private pilot certification up to 2.5, or an instrument rating up to 20, as long as a certified flight instructor is presented to endorse their logbook. So the recommendation, we did follow the process for bidding. There was a sealed bid process. We only had 2 bidders that placed bids. So we're presenting 2 bidders tonight. So the recommendation is to approve the purchase of 2 basic aviation training devices from bidder 1 in the amount of $34,639. This does not include tax. Since the company is out of state, they do not charge tax.
Even better. We've never really dealt with anything like this, have we?
Oh, yeah, we have.
With this one?
Just
not
no,
this
not
program.
with
Yeah.
this. Oh, but different programs
Right,
of study.
that's what I mean.
Yes, we've done several startup applications
Yes.
over the years. So yes, but not for, obviously, aviation is
Right.
a very new program of study. And we do have people in the audience that
Yes.
can speak to the particular simulators. I see
Mr. Gage?
Yes,
And Mr. Muir.
Gage and Doug Muir
Doug.
and Tom Carnes. So
All right.
I can help with the bidding part.
Yes.
But as far as if you want to know the nitty gritty about the actual product, I know that Mr. Muir has visited with Mr. Gage on recommendations of this from what Mr. McCarn has told me. So I feel very confident with what they've chosen. So
Very good.
but I can't get too specific.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the recommendation.
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
Yeah, just a little bit. First off, these are really nice. So the district, these are gonna be a really fantastic asset for the district. And for support for the public to know, these are grant monies coming from the state. So this is not our local district buying these things. So this is really good. And our community partners, Leading Edge Aviation, right, they're going to be, my understanding is they're gonna be supplying some simulators as well. So these are the districts gonna be buying these with the grant money that we got from the state. Leading Edge Aviation is gonna be supplying some flight simulators as well too. So most flight schools out there, they could only dream of having this equipment that we're about to have here in the district, and our students are gonna have the opportunity to have. So one, that's really, really good, and we're happy for that. Looking at the bid, the 2 bids, one said, hey, FAA certified, basic aviation training device, the other one wasn't FAA certified. I think the intent's probably to have all of them, the 2 that the district buys and the ones that the foundation supplies to the district, be the same device. Do we know that bidder 1 is bidding on, because whoever bid number 2 it's a different device than what we're probably looking for. Do we know that bidder 1 is the training device that we have that's gonna match? So we have 4 or however many flight simulators that are the same?
Yes, they will.
They will?
Yes, they do, they will, Matt.
Okay, because that's gonna be certainly the best interest to have all 4 of the same thing.
That's why I said, y'all are the experts.
Glad you're here.
I just help you with the money.
And the
And you do a great
original
job
bid
of that.
there also, I'll come up there, not listen to me in the back of the room.
Yeah, we can.
The original bid there also includes the instructor station with it, so that is buying 2 devices as well as the instructor station, which allows, it's like our Go Guardian software that we have on the computers, only I'm watching the flight simulators, and they're able to manipulate weather situations, instrument failures, different things like that. And if there's a student wandering around just doing barrel rolls, I can shut that down. It's not gonna turn anymore. So.
Sure.
Eject.
No, I'm Top Gun on this system.
Don't say Top Gun.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Thank you. Thanks for being here.
And Dr. Brown, this fits the minimum equipment standards that Yes.
You
With the
can,
grant.
so to purchase the,
Yes.
with the grant funds?
Yes,
Not
whenever-
operating?
No, not out of operating. Now,
Okay.
what we were lucky enough to be able to write for 2 different startup applications. One was for construction technology, the other was for aviation. We were approved for construction technology. We weren't ready for that one, so I asked if we could do aviation.
Great.
A little bit more money, and they approved it. So luckily, we have a really good relationship with DCTE that they did switch
That's
to
great.
fund this
Right.
program. But the thing is, with this program, we have until February to exhaust these funds. So we are going to have to make sure that we spend quickly, because by January, with everything coming in, we've got to make sure that, we have tasked Mr. Muir to, spend that money so that we don't lose it. And so this is going to help us tremendously, because again, we've got to make sure that we have shown a good faith effort to the State Department that we have ordered and that we receive it within their fund timeline.
So you have to receive it too, also by then. Wow.
So that's why we're kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with holidays coming.
Yes.
Very
So-
good.
So
Any
yes,
other
this is something that we have, we're excited
dreamed
about,
of?
so.
Sure, I mean, so basically $17,000 per unit here, it's really nice. There's certainly, so everyone understands, there are certainly less expensive aviation, FAA certified aviation training devices out there. But these are, from my understanding, I'm talking to Mr. Gage, these are gonna be pretty heavy duty, where we have 150 students that are using these 4 simulators. They're gonna get a fair amount of wear and tear on them, and hopefully they'll hold up. But just from us, they're district assets, and when the rotor pedals break, it's $700 to replace the rotor pedals, et cetera. So there's gonna be
And
some
that-
ongoing costs to having
Yeah.
these things, just so
Upkeep.
we're all aware. Surge protectors, one lightning strike doesn't take out all 4 of them, type of thing, right? So,
Well, and you did bring up a
okay.
really good point as well, whenever you ask about minimum equipment. And the whole point of this particular startup application is so that you can purchase a bulk of your minimum equipment, as much as you can, out of this particular fund, so it doesn't, the whole purpose is to help the districts
Okay.
across the state whenever they get these. So
So-
that's the point. They come up with a formula as how much a percentage of those startup funds is going to come from, for minimum equipment, from this particular application, and then what else will fall into, which is a very small percentage, into an operating. But if we can get everything out of this, then that's the goal.
is there excess funds still in that grant to maybe use and buy some spare control yokes, throttle
Pedals,
quadrants, et cetera,
yeah.
that we can buy now before we send that money back in February?
At last,
I would say that'd be a good thing to look into
at
if we
last
can.
look, we had like over $15,000 left.
Then, yeah, let's look forward to buying some spare
Yes.
parts for these
So
rare
that's a
items.
Great.
Yeah.
So, because they will break over time. I
Yes,
mean,
so that's,
Yeah.
that's a good, because any type of minimum equipment is an allowable purchase, so that's a very good.
To speak to that,
Crash.
I have talked to other schools in Arkansas, they're running the same device to find out exactly what you're asking, like, how long do they hold up? What have you had to replace? So I can kind of be ready for that and do exactly what you're saying.
awesome. Thank you.
We want to make the most of the money that we have, because
Yes,
we
ma'am.
received a little over $63,000 for this program.
I'm excited to see how quickly it went from an idea to the real success. You guys, a lot of people are really responsible for that. Just as kind of a note, just because we bought it out of state and they didn't charge us tax, doesn't mean that we're not responsible for the sales tax. You might want to look into that.
Well, like I
Use
said, I just
tax.
double checked whenever I got the bids. I just wanted to make sure that they were offering the same items, because I noticed on one of the bids, they had an installation fee, and I was wondering why the other one didn't charge us the installation fee, the one that we're going with. And he said it would be a waste of your money, and I'm just gonna send you a YouTube video to show you how to set it up. So I was like, oh, well, that's very nice. But, so I will double check on the taxes, but it kind of, that was a question that somebody had already had about the sales, why are we not being charged taxes? And so I just clarified with them, so.
Doesn't mean we don't necessarily own it.
Right.
It's a use tax.
It could-
I think
I
it's a
just
use
didn't
tax,
want
yeah.
them to come back, they bid it, this was a sealed bid, this is what they submitted. I didn't want them to come back and say, oh, well, now it's gonna be a little bit more, because
Right.
we didn't do shipping and handling or whatever. And I was like, is this your bottom deal? Because I'm not going back to the board. Both of them were like, no,
that is our bid.
There's no wires. Those are extra.
No, we're not doing that.
Batteries not included.
And to what Mr. Chester said, just a little bit, a lot of this credit for getting this program up and running. In fact, most of it as fast as we have. You know, we get credit to our community partners.
Yes.
Leading Edge
Mr.
Foundation
Gage.
here they've taken the lead and helped the district get to this point very quickly instead of us. So big thank you goes out to the foundation that Leading Edge.
Thank you, Scott, and the board for that acknowledgement, but I have to say, nothing happens without the administration and all of you acting, which you did very expeditiously, and Dr. Brown's support in getting the coordination through the curriculum approval last year in a rather difficult time of her life. We recognize that extra effort also. So it's a team effort, and we're happy to support this team in making opportunities available for our students.
Thank you, Mr. Gage. I remember when you came and you came to me and brought this idea over lunch, and I'm like, you're nuts. This is never gonna fly. And here we are, we're flying. I was so excited about it, and I'm thinking, how are we gonna get everybody behind this? Because it's so far off of what we've ever done. And I think it's just gonna bring people here. We are gonna be more on the map, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm very proud to know you, and I've watched him hands-on in some aviation, and I'm impressed with his education and his teaching, and
Okay.
yes, thank you. Anyway, all right, thank you, Miss Dana, Miss Dr. Brown, thank you. Any more questions? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, Miss Dewey.
Okay.
Follow that one. Request to
This
approve
one's-
student transfer.
This one's not as much fun.
Resolution.
But,
This will be good, though.
So, as you know, you must petition a school district to reside, if you reside in one and want to transfer to another. The Board of Directors of the residence district may enter an agreement with the board, and you can go to school somewhere else with a transfer. So rather than approving or denying all transfer petitions itself, a school district board of directors may adopt a resolution that delegates this authority to approve the petition for a transfer received under this section to the school district superintendent or an individual member of the board. I'd like to make note that however a school district decides to do this, you do not delegate authority to deny. So that denial does come from you all, and a parent still has the opportunity to petition the board, and if there's a denial, and ask to be allowed to transfer, whether in or out. So, the resolution, whereas the Board of Education, in accordance with Arkansas Code 618-316, may adopt a resolution that delegates its authority to approve a petition for a transfer received under this section to the school district superintendent. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of Mountain Home Public Schools, delegates its authority to approve petitions for a transfer received under this section to the school district superintendent. So I'm asking, I recommend the board adopt the resolution as attached, allowing the district superintendent the authority to approve transfer requests.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we adopt the resolution.
Thank you, Scott. Second?
I'll make a second.
Bob? Any discussion?
Are there any cons to this that, hey, we need to be aware of? You know, I raised the question initially, it's like, does it come to the board approval to protect the superintendent from, hey, you're making that decision, and my understanding that it's not, but are there any cons to this? Because I see positives, but.
I see a whole lot of positives. The only, I'm not afraid to do this. We've checked with legal, and I don't see any reason not to at this point. The only con I can see would be in a denial.
Yeah.
And, that kind of puts us all.
But the denial still comes to the
It does.
board.
Right. It does.
Just like we've
So
done.
if I deny, right.
There's no
Right.
change.
So if I deny
Right.
something, it could come to you, and of course, that could be just a relationship type
Well,
issue, but that's your job as the board.
Right.
To make those decisions.
Right, just like when we did it singly.
Just like when you do it singly, if there's
Yeah.
a denial, I would my plan would be was during the enrollment report, I would let you know the transfer numbers. Unless you'd like for it to be a different way if you decide to go this direction.
I mean, I don't mind still getting this information, but we
Right.
don't
Okay,
have to
we can do
we
that.
don't have to vote on it
Right.
Each one.
individually, but still
Yeah,
seeing this
we
is
can
good.
definitely do that.
Yeah.
So Dr. Brown is going to be handling our transfers for the next little bit. Most of you may know that Ron has had to go to Houston.
We'll keep him in our prayers.
Please do.
Yep. Okay. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Request to approve Leading Edge Aviation Program Agreement. Ms. Dewey?
All right, so Mr. Gage is here representing Leading Edge Aviation this evening. The Leading Edge Aviation Foundation has, of course, as you know, been an integral part of the development of our new aviation pathway. The foundation has received some large donations to be used to support the program through the purchase of flight simulation equipment. For this charitable gift, the Leading Edge Aviation needs to obtain a signed copy of the attached gift agreement. It is my recommendation that the board enter into this gift agreement as presented. I would like for you all to know that this has gone through legal with Mr. Gage and myself. We have both visited with our attorney to make sure this would not be an issue. The other piece to this is we have also looked at policy. If you'll notice in this packet, I believe this is the packet that talks about the opportunities available to donors. One of the $10,000 donation does allow a donor to put their name on a classroom. The classroom where the students are meeting for this class, the aviation class. So that really is the reasoning behind this agreement, is to make sure we are kosher.
Yeah, the real reason for it is just to provide a clear understanding between the donor who is giving money, and we are giving them in exchange the right to honor their family or their company or some entity that they wish for by putting their name on an object. In the case of the simulator room, it's the only object which concerns the school district. But we did offer the naming rights to the aviation classroom, and a generous local publisher has purchased or donated the amount that we specified for that, and will put his family name, or in honor of family name, on the education facility, the classroom for aviation. That's then the agreement specifies the length of time that lasts for 3 years, the way it could be renewed. It also has certain responsibilities for the donor to maintain a good name and not do anything to create a negative influence that would cause the school district to remove their name from the facility, but it does give the district the sole right to determine whether the name ought to be removed or not if some untoward event happens that is associated with the donor's name. So it's a protective agreement that simply outlines the understanding between the donor who gives money and the district who gives the right to put your name up for a temporary period of time or a specified period of time in exchange for that. We are using, the foundation is using, we are also selling the naming rights to the 4 simulator units. So those are, 2 of them will be the school's units, so those will also have a gift agreement involving the district. The units which we purchase as the foundation and make a naming agreement with the donor will not involve the school district, but it will be the exact same agreement. It'll just be a 2-party instead of, in this case, a 3-party agreement that you see to accommodate the naming of the school room. And the same agreement will be used for the 2 flight simulators if somebody donates enough to get the right to put their name or company name on those. Any questions I can help with?
I think that answered it.
It's just clarification to keep things clean and understandable and
Sure.
try to anticipate things that might come up later that we don't want to have to deal with.
Right.
If you have multiple of the $10,000 Sim room naming, are we gonna put both names on the building or on the room, or?
No, it's only
First
sold
come,
once, and it's
first
sold.
come,
So
okay.
the person that got that has gotten it.
Oh, we got other rooms.
And knows it, and nobody else can have that.
Okay.
So the other donations that come in of appropriate size will be allowed or given the opportunity to name a simulator unit.
Very good, thank you.
Got 27 other rooms.
There's lots of precedent out there. If you go to the hospital, you go to ASU
Oh,
and their
sure.
schools, if it's been through legal, if it's with our policy, then we need to have every room named, every wing named. That'd be ideal, so, it's fantastic.
We need a stadium for big price.
Yep.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion, we approve the donation action item. The
Second?
naming action.
Second.
Daniel, thank you. Any more discussion?
Mr. Gage continues to amaze me.
I know.
In community
We
support.
are-
And this is bigger than aviation. You're giving us a pattern for how we can go to the community and really partner in other different areas where people have their expertise or their interests. So whether it be it doesn't really matter, we can use a pattern like this. And it's good to honor people that support the schools. That's a great thing. So thank you again and again.
Thank you, Bob.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Ms. Cotter, request to approve budget of proposed expenditures.
Typically, I would bring this to you in the spring. However, we have some date changes in our timeline, so amendments number 40 and number 74 of the Arkansas Constitution and Arkansas Code annotated 613-622 requires publication of the annual proposed school expenditure budgets together with tax rates. Such publication is required at least 60 days prior to the school board election. And so this year, our school board election is scheduled for Tuesday, March 5th of 2023. Therefore, correct publication must occur on or before December 7th of 2023. So that's why we're bringing it to you in November this year.
March 6th of 24.
The board must approve a summary expenditures budget prior to its publication in the newspaper and pass a resolution for any proposed millage increases with proposed millage election dates. If you look at the document attached, it's noted on the next page that the total proposed school tax levy of 32.16 mils represents the same rate presently being collected. So on tonight's document, there is no resolution. And so we recommend adoption of the attached proposed budget of expenditures with tax levy for the fiscal year ended June 30th of 2026 and all related election documents that are attached.
Make a motion, we accept the recommendation as submitted.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Barbara. Any discussion?
I'd like to note on the budget of proposed expenditures, if you'll look, there is a $2 million building fund expense. That is a possibility of the roofs that we've been talking about. You'll also see those in the master plan. And like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, those we're hopeful we would get partnership funding on. But just looking ahead, that's where that building fund expense was added.
Very good. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Dewey, Ms. Cotter. Mr. McCarn, request to approve community service plan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for letting me come up and share some more about community service. We've been working very hard on our plan, very excited about some community service learning opportunities. As you know, last month I got to come up here and present and got to spend quite a bit of time with you all presenting and letting you know our plan for community service. With this plan, we really feel like we have everything we need to do to offer our kids opportunities to do community service both within the school day and outside the school day. We're super excited about the opportunities that it presents. One thing that I would like for you all to know are a few, before I make the recommendation, are a few of the community service things that we already have going, because I think that will help you clarify some of the things that are kind of already in the deal. You heard earlier about Career Day. Well, we had some students that helped set up chairs, take down chairs, set up tables, take down tables for Career Day. We also had kids that welcomed our community partners on Career Day, got bags ready for them to go, those kind of things. So that will be an example of something that we would grant community service hours for. One example of a community service thing that this would allow us to do, I believe under the direction of Mr. Kincaid, he actually had some students that went over to the kindergarten playground and helped out Mr. Roach. They had a need over there at the kindergarten and picking up, what did they pick up, Mr. Roach?
Walnuts and sticks.
Walnuts and sticks at the kindergarten to make our kindergarten playground a little safer.
It's a little safer.
And so Mr. Kincaid was able to do that. We have a Bomber Environmental Awareness Club. Our Bomber Environmental Awareness Club is led up by Jordan Campbell. She is taking some of our 9th grade kids this Saturday out to Bull Shoals State Park, and they are going to help pick up and clean up Bull Shoals State Park.
Wow.
We have kids that are prepared and ready to go to write letters to nursing homes. So we have kids in classes and those kind of things that are ready to write letters to nursing homes and take those to the nursing homes and ready to go. We had a Halloween festival at Mountain Home Junior High where we have a lot of kids come through and trick or treat, and we spend a large part of the day decorating for Halloween and passing out candy for little kids. It gives them a safe way to trick or treat. It takes a lot of help to decorate and do what we do. We had a lot of kids. We had about 30 to 40 kids that helped us out on a Saturday. We already have kids that are going to the food bank, that are volunteering at the food bank. We have kids that are signed up to go help with the culture celebration of lights. And so likely when you drive through and stop by one of those booths, you might see one of our 9th grade kids that are there getting their community service hours. And then we also have plans to be involved with the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign. And so those are just a few of the things that we're ready to go on and ready to roll forward with. So, you know, this is a part of the LEARN's Law. The rationale is after hearing more from DESE about expectations, the district is able to formulate its own plan for the implementation of this requirement that is thorough but also non-restrictive in nature. And that is one thing that we really want to hang our hat on, is making it non-restrictive. We want to have every kid the opportunity to complete this requirement. This plan will allow for our students to document many of the community service options that they already participate in, while also providing clear definition of what counts as community service in our district. This plan also creates a system for new community service opportunities to be approved by the district to count toward the 75-hour requirement. And so our recommendation is that the board approves the community service plan as presented.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept the recommendation.
Jason, second?
Second.
Barbara, thank you. Any discussion? I would like to thank you and thank the governor. I think this was a very strong move forward that she took the initiative to do, even though when I first read it, I thought this is going to be impossible. This is asking so much of our educators, but I think this is going to bring our children a whole nother light into their world and to understand humanity and helping. But kudos to our people, because it takes a lot to make this come through too. And you've found hours for them. Walnuts, food bank. I mean, we're hitting all the whole surface. So thank you for your initiative to see the future of what we need. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you specifically. I don't know how it got put on your plate, but you didn't go, okay, fine.
I'll do it.
You put effort into it. You did a
It's a
great
lot.
job.
It was short straw.
It's a lot of work.
But no, you've done a good job, and I appreciate it. It's something that's going to bring value to the community and the school.
Mhm.
Yeah. We really hope
We
to
have-
instill in the kids that it's an opportunity to give back to the community that's given them so much,
Mhm.
and a sense of pride, recognizing the need that's there around them as well, because we have needs of, like the kindergarten playground.
Yeah.
That are right there, that we can help ourselves out, and fulfill the need that's right in front of our face.
Well, and it's taking a little heat off the parents to try to find those hours also for them and drive them and take them. And I just think we have the greatest administration, and I just can't thank our whole group enough. And you for leading it. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. McLaurin.
Fantastic.
All right, board discussion.
I have one announcement, if I may, before we adjourn. I mentioned the foundational donor who purchased the naming rights to the aviation classroom. He happens to be in this room tonight. It's Mr. Chris Fulton and his family stepped
Wow.
forward and made the first major donation.
That's
We
phenomenal.
put his grandfather's family name, I believe, Chris, is that right? The Corson family name on the aviation classroom, the Corson Aviation Educational Classroom. Thanks to Chris stepping up. He got interested, so he's always been interested enough in aviation as the aggressive and complete reporter that he is, but he got extra interested on Aviation Day when he visited the airport, and he mentioned to me that he might be interested in finding out more about the foundation, that sometimes his family is available to support things that are of interest to them. And so when I contacted him later, he immediately stepped up with that donation, and we're so proud to
Yeah.
have Chris's family associated with the aviation classroom in this way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fulton. Thank you. Great, thank you very much. All right. Any other board discussion? That's pretty good. I don't know how we talk about walnuts and sticks and $10,000.
Which is still pretty good.
Superintendent's update.
So, we have been chosen, the board has been chosen, to present at the ASBA Annual Conference. At this time, we'll be presenting 2 breakout sessions, one on the Wings magazine and the collaboration of that publication with the Mountain Home Education Foundation, and a second breakout on our new aviation program and the community collaboration and the startup and all those pieces. So you'll be hearing more about that soon, as that will take place before our next board meeting, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That it's already almost December. I did want to let the board know that this week we were provided a Solution Tree representative. And Solution Tree is kind of the leading PD group for the PLC and collaborative team process. And this Tuesday, she worked with principals, superintendents. All of us were able to be there with her. It was a great day of learning as we continue our work on collaborative teams and that professional learning community process. She is going to be returning 3 more times. This was a follow-up to our district's participation in the PLC district-wide initiative that the state provided. So this was all state-funded, which is pretty cool. And that just our participation last year, we did go once a month, but they were able to provide somebody to be on campus to work with our principals. Wow. And then got to attend 2 collaborative team meetings. So we may present more about that later. Good luck to our football team. Headed to Greenwood for the 2nd round of state playoffs tomorrow night. We'll be on BSN for those that don't make the very long trip. Actually, it's not on BSN, it's on XL7, right?
YouTube
and
TV.
And YouTube TV. Mm-hmm. And XL7 does provide the video for that BSN. So happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
To all.
Thankful.
I wrote down, I'm confident our teachers are going to enjoy a week of giving thanks.
Yes.
So, thank you all.
Thank you all. If we don't see you on the flip side of this meeting, and we will adjourn to executive session to discuss personnel.